potions available for this dual lane. Still plenty of health potions for Cheerio at the very least. And once Dardes hits level 2, he will have some heal in the kit. But right now, it's all going to be hitting home as K and Maker Love for now have the clear advantage.
Cheerio, one more time, going to get hit by the damage out of Scotty. Get on my level, though. That blue buff's going to end up costing him his life. Nika, first on the board here for Mouse this time around.
And with an early rotation over there from Frostyak, flipping the script from game 1 where he had action in mid and duo lane, instead showing his face over in solo and causing some problems to get on my level right away.
But he was part of the first blood, the
That's
Frostyak
the
special.
That's true. He either gets it or he isn't, either way.
Or he's a part of it.
Yeah.
There is the third option.
Frostyak's a part of it, no matter what ends up happening. So we'll see if he can keep that same momentum he had last game. Dardes low again, but Cheerio right in there to block, and now Frostyak with a good chance for the loop round. Blink right in, stun, Cheerio gets the kill.
Oh, no. I feel like this might just be the beginning here for Get On My Level, Bench, because I doubt that Maker was expecting Frostyak to show up this soon, and neither side has had an opportunity to go for their buffs, so now Frostyak just going to look for the steal, and he will be successful in doing so.
No reason he's not able to grab those, but let's go back and take a look at the respawn first blood. Nika able to find this one over in solo lane, I believe, with a little bit of help coming out from Frostyak, and Get On My Level was full HP. They just wore him down.
It was just chase after chase. Great body blocks, by the way, in the center there, even though
the biggest pocket right now is Big Man Tings, at least in terms of the XP per minute, way up there at 530. He's definitely got a level advantage. Nika could be in some trouble. Apex is here to help out Get On My Level, but they can't quite get to him. In fact, blue buff stolen yet again. Frostyak finds a stun and gets in the way, but the little rat can't body block quite enough, and Get On My Level is able to make his way to the tower.
The Fearless. The Fearless prevents Apex from getting in front of Nika to try and eat the buff right away, and so without that Devour minion, it's practically impossible for Get On My Level to try and reconfirm the blue buff for their solo laner, and Get On My Level is suffering for it pretty heavily here. Sobek without blue at the very start of a laning phase, he might have Lurking in the Waters for some mana sustainability, but that's not going to be enough considering he needs to be level 5 first to even get it.
That's right, he doesn't even have that option available to him as Frostyak is lurking in the dual lane jungle. Maker Love still level 3. His dash is down, and they should certainly know that now if Dardes communicates the information. But they want Maker Love, the Scotty with limited mobility options, dash back in to close the gap, and Frostyak finds one more kill. 1-0 and 2 apart all 3.
It was a solid permafrost placement, just at level 3, Maker doesn't have his own self-peeling tools, and the blink also just super unexpected from the backside. I think that Get On My Level should start prioritizing keeping wards around these jungle choke points just so they don't fall victim to any more of these Frostyak rotations.
Frostyak can get the knock-up, and waiting in the wings is Nika blinking in. The immediate Fearless to follow up, and that will be one kill for the solo laner. Can they find Apex as well? He has the blink over the wall, so he is out. But Mouse Sports, slow and steady, climbing out in front over Get On My Level.
Nika now looking to control Get On My Level. Still level 4 is this Sobek. He has not had any chances to safely farm inside of his own solo lane. And I can't say I'm all that surprised when you think about how well Frostyak has been playing this early game yet again.
He played very well in game 1. He's continuing that same trend here in game 2. Things are bad for Get On My Level, but not quite as catastrophic as they were in game 1, where it felt like even, 5, 6, 7 minutes into the game, it was already off the rails where they could never return it. This is a tremendous lead, nearly 3,000. It's definitely not the spot you want to be in, but they still have a chance. In fact, they want to make a play on Cheerio on left-hand side. Maker Love and Apex are all here. Apex fighting his way in. The root's there, but even better is the regurgitate. But Cheerio makes it out and finds the dash. Even has the horrific emblem, but the cone auto's too good, and Apex finds the first kill for Get On My Level.
Nice response, though, just to show that sign of life from Get On My Level. I think that they really needed that light at the end of the tunnel to show up sooner rather than later.
Oh, absolutely. Apex, though, might pay for it with his life, but he is very quick. He's able to go away from Frostyak with the snipe from Tings. He's got the reads. Let him do the anime glasses flash or something. My man absolutely knew where he was going and finds the snipe.
That's just rough. To die to the snipe just like that, and You don't even know which direction Bluefish is getting collapsed on from. You have Nika ulting with the Lawbringer into the tower, and then there's Frosty Gap blinking from the backside of the tower forward. It's almost as if Mouse just happened to be everywhere.
They're pulling at them from every angle right now. 21,000 gold, putting them about 4,000 or so out in front. Mouse Sports continuing their dominance here into game number 2. They do still have Bluefish, who's nearby in terms of experience, can't quite keep up. Maker Love in trouble underneath his own tier 1. What did he do to earn that one? He's just farming his wave underneath his tower. I mean, can you be any more further back than that?
I'm starting to doubt it, but he might have to be. Maybe it's got to be a safe haven underneath the T2 tower from this point forward. I'm not really certain that Bluefish has any freedom. I mean, even Jerio half-healthing him at this stage.
Jerio does still have that ultimate available. Not able to quite find it with the spin around. I like it. There was another mage ability, though, a little bit earlier on that did have quite a nice shot. Big man Tings found the snipe over the wall. We can go back with the INAP instant replay and take a look at that nice shot he was able to find. Able to bring Apex quite low with Frostyak, and then Tings just lines it up.
Nice job, too, from Tings. It still takes a lot of knowledge, I think, to try and make that play and feel as confident in it. Because you have to be confident in your Ross Knights at that point to just blindly ult over the wall.
And Ryan was talking about it, too, that it's sort of like a rhythm thing, right? That you can start to feel it, and that there is benefit to getting in that rhythm early on. And I think that's what we're seeing here from Tings, is that he's getting that rhythm, even if maybe it doesn't translate, as Frostyak ends up falling to Apex, lets him hear some chuckles about it, giving him the VEL treatment. But are they going to be able to make it back out A-OK? Nika wants to go for Bluefish in particular.
Nika is just hard tanking up this Agni damage. Might have been up a little bit more than he could chew, though. Bluefish with a great flame wave, going to end up cleaning him up in the end there. Trying to use this Athena for the body blocks, but Get On My Level accidentally tosses and serves Big Man Tings right up to the both of them. Fortunately, though, Hikai will be able to peel his Agni out of danger. Same can't be said, though, for Get On My Level. He will eventually end up falling.
Dardas could potentially be in some trouble as well as Apex jumps in, but the Spirit Arrow too strong. Maker Love is blinking to reposition. It lets him avoid the damage, but Frostyak's coming to the rescue. The knockup doesn't land, but he doesn't need it. Dardas makes it out, and Tings is the one that gets kill credit.
Well executed by Dardas there. Just biding his time as well as he possibly could. The 2v1 unsuccessful there for Apex and Maker. I like that little spam laugh, though. You can see Frostyak even chuckling a bit in the player cam. When it took place. Even Frostyak kind of understanding, all right, we might be going a little bit too amped too soon here. It's not game 1 exactly just yet.
And this is what I meant when I said that Get On My Level might not be quite as bad as what we saw in game 1, or certainly are capable of better performances than that, because that one got out of control in a hurry. There really wasn't a way to fight back into this one, that one with how out of control it got. Here, though, we're still seeing that if Mouse overstep, if Mouse make errors, then Get On My Level are more than capable of punishing them for it. We saw it on that solo side jungle by the blue buff just now, and if they continue, Get On My Level will continue to punish them. If Mouse, though, show us some of the clean play we know they have, they will be able to keep this going.
There aren't any 3, 4, 5 level leads just yet, so this is already infinitely better than Get On My Level's first game experience. Still, it certainly has not been an easy task for the C representative to try and play catch-up with Mouse, because Mouse, all that European SPL experience, and I gotta say, Finch, I feel like this is kind of what people were expecting from the North American matches.
Certainly that some of those might go, a little bit more skewed towards the SPL teams, as Apex manages to avoid getting hit by the snipe that time. He is going to run right back towards Frostyak, though. Cleans that kill up with a flurry of acorns. Rain fire coming through for Cheerio, who is able to reposition and barely make it out, so Mouse Sports find another clean pick.
Frostyak now still looking to collapse even further, still on to Maker. It's going to be Big Man Tings' Celestial Beam that gets the final body count on that one. And the danger isn't out just yet. Bluefish now, the next target of attack, and one more Celestial Beam. He was too busy trying to fire off some bombs and didn't even realize that it was going to connect.
I don't even know if that was the plan. It was definitely for Hakei, who was right there in his face and just went on through and found even more purchase on the back end. So another great fight from Mouse there in the middle lane. Apex can't even step towards Dardas. He's doing too much damage, has the Transcendence finished. Warrior Tabai as well. He's swinging at this point.
I feel like Dardas thinks that he might have messed up there and that he could have had a kill if he didn't backflip.
That he would have just been better off just staying in auto range?
If he'd used the unravel or try to toss out a couple of auto attacks and then backflipped, he might have been able to find the solo 1v1, considering his level lead. Still has a 3-level lead over Maker, and that's why Get On My Level has decided to show up here, provide some backup, but the plug is off the mark and end up targeting a minion instead. Darda is still trying to create some space away from Calder, but it's not enough. Lurking in the water is still going to bring him down in the end, but Maker will end up falling to Nika.
That's 1 for 1, Hunter for Hunter, and if it ends that way, Get On My Level can feel good about it, but if they end up giving anything more, then they can't. The Celestial Beam sniper right there for the follow-up. Nika gets the last hit, and the KE falls yet again. Mouse Sports continue the carnage here in Game 2.
And I want to readdress that point that I just brought up with maybe this is what the public was expecting from the North American teams. And I sincerely do mean that. I feel like a lot of people were just expecting that Trifecta and Luminosity would both respectively close out their sets in a relatively quick fashion, but those matches were just so incredibly close, and then you get to games like this with Mouse, and you almost begs the question, what will the European versus North American matchup start to look like?
They're definitely looking impressive here right now as the taunt comes through. Cheerio could be in some trouble. Lurking in the waters is there, but he's making it back towards the heels. Get On My Level wants to try and find this kill. The silence is there, and Cheerio just barely lives for now. Hikei wants to come put him down, but he's made it up to the point where the dash is available. Double kill for Nika. Hikei finally cleans up Cheerio on the knocks, but at what cost?
Nika killed Cheerio there, by the way. Cheerio definitely had the intention to dash into Nika to be safe and sound and just go for a ride alongside of the tier. But because Nika blinked forward, Cheerio was off the mark with his dash in.
And that meant he was still left out where he could take damage and taking the spill. Largely inconsequential, though, as Mouse Sports now 10,000 gold out in front, or very nearly. But still, you know, well, liked it. If Nika had waited on his buddy and let him ride along with him. 13,000 experience, though, is also going to make things rather difficult for Get On My Level, as now Mouse turn their attention towards some objectives and grab the gold Fury.
Just trying to increase that lead as much as possible. And now Mouse are starting to get a little bit more on pace to what things are like in Game 1. It seems like they've kind of just amped things up a little bit here. Searing Pain nearly bringing down Maker alone. That is a lot of damage, but it's mostly because of this level disparity between the two.
That's right. It's about a 4-level gap here at this point between, or even more between him and Maker Love, actually about 5 levels there. So yeah, right now Big Man Tings is certainly swinging relative to his opponents in this match. Frosyak is underneath the Tier 1 tower without much help. Good damage able to put on the Bluefish and force out the dash, but Get On My Level. The Sobek is on his way to the fray, but it'll be too late. Tier 1 tower has already been removed.
I like it, though. Mouse still looking to keep up this charge. They're just barreling down the lanes one at a time, it feels like. And I like this strat from Mouse because they're essentially just not allowing Get On My Level any recovery period. This is the same amount of pressure that they smother Get On My Level with in Game 1, and there's no reason to not be relentless because Get On My Level just have no time to do anything else except respond to the initiations.
Nika's unable to find the Fearless, and Frosyak still remains on the tree, acting as a deterrent for Get On My Level. He wants to make her love, can't find the knockup, and will instead dash away. Mouse Sports might have to give up the Tier 2 with the entire team of Get On My Level here. Kay goes forward, finds the 2-man taunt, beads, gets everyone out, and they immediately turn around, Searing Pain, and the Celestial Beam set up a double kill for Big Man Tings. Nika is going to fall to Apex, but right there to follow up is Tings. He misses the Celestial Beam, and Apex makes it out.
Darda's out. He's not through with it just yet. Healing. Not going to be able to find the final ticks, but then there's Frosyak and Cheerio. They just come fast and furious on the backside.
That means a double kill for Frosyak, pairing up with Cheerio. Nowhere for K to go. A triple for Frosyak, and they should finally be able to clean up this Tier 2 tower. Now, it is too early for them to try and go on and in. Even with this DSI, the respawn timers will be back before too long, but they can strip the jungle, certainly, maybe even go towards Pyromancer. But Taco, you were saying earlier that you thought those other sets from NA probably should have gone, or like the perception would be they would have gone differently. And while I think those were some closer matches, Nocturnes, I think, is the best of our international teams. Certainly the SPL teams were heavily favorited, I think, in those matches, and they still were not able to close them out. So it does kind of show, is there just, maybe more competition here in Europe?
And don't get me wrong, I do not believe that we could have expected to see Luminosity or Trifecta steamroll Insignum and Nocturnes alike, because if you do...
Not like this, no.
Yeah, if you compare the matches throughout the day, I think that there's a definite argument to be made for Insignum and Nocturnes that they are two of the better competitive teams against these SPL, outside the SPL moments.
Yeah, absolutely, as Tings has the Aegis to keep him alive. World Weaver there, and the immediate follow-up with the snipe. Nice shot from Tings. Good work with Dardes. Fire Giant going their way. When it rains, it pours. Now up 14,000 gold.
You just wouldn't have expected them to be as close as they ended up
I
being.
think so, yeah. And I think that LG, sort of said as much in their interview, right? That they felt like that maybe they could have played a little bit cleaner and they didn't feel like they had the prep they wanted for that matchup. But I think that was also Nocturnes playing very well in that set, too. I certainly wouldn't want to take anything away from them.
A lot of really good adjustments that were made on the fly, most noticeably in Insignum's set. I think so many people had kind of just written off Game 3, myself included, by the way, and just assumed that, the Fenrir support, run it back, just didn't end up working out. But that just wasn't the case for Insignum, and Genetics did a fantastic job the whole way through with that play.
Really strong set. It's now Cheerio tries to get out of the hole he's dug himself in. The root will land on the Apex, create some room, avoids the damage from Maker Love, even with the blink. Now a sprint to allow Cheerio to get even a little bit further away. But now that Apex is in lane, he used the horrific emblem to guarantee the damage. A good eaten minion, so Cheerio will eventually die, but it takes 3 members a long time to finally get it done as Tings removes Maker Love.
Oh, the cross beam was so nasty there from Tings. Celestial beam into the searing pain. And I think that might have been, no, it wasn't the blink off. I thought it was a blink off for a second, but that was Nika coming in.
You can tell Tings certainly feeling himself after this performance. Frostiak is able to take care of Bluefish with no trouble. Mid lane, Phoenix goes down 18 minutes into the game. Get on my level, the player just barely able to reposition. And it looks like Mouse don't feel comfortable going any further forward just yet. So a little bit slower than their pace from game 1, but nearly anything would be. That was a blistering pace they set in that one. Certainly still dominant here in game 2.
Kind of surprised that Mouse don't choose to look for that right side Phoenix. They did have creep waves approaching at that same period of backing off from having taken down the mid lane Phoenix. I do like that Mouse just decided they'd rather back and spend some gold instead. And Cheerio's build, I think, starting to be a reflection of how much of a lead Mouse really has over Get On My Level right now. The Pythagorean's piece and the Doomor for the Nox. Both fairly unconventional items to see on a support Nox, but when you're this far out in the lead, I think you can get away with it.
He absolutely can. This is good recognition from Apex, though. Now he has Maker Love there to join. They can at least try and get some gold back. Get On My Level narrowly avoiding getting sniped out as the Gold Fury does go down. Cheerio might be able to punish. Celestial Beam can't quite get in range, so Get On My Level will survive, but Frostiak will rectify that shortly, going up into the ultimate. He is able to find the kill. Divine now for Frostiak in the jungle, the Rattata. Hikei can only watch as Frostiak continues to do work.
This is getting nasty, Finch, and I'm almost starting to wonder if we should put a parental rating on this one, because things are getting messy here for Get On My Level, as they are just trying to cling on to life now up against Mouse. But I almost feel like Mouse might have just secured their next matchup, Finch, because they are looking good so far.
It certainly would be difficult to see Mouse dropping this one. Get On My Level would just need to bunker down and try and hold on and hope that Mouse, play a little bit like we saw them around the blue buff on the solo side, where, they were over-aggressing and things got a little bit out of control. They'd have to hope for a lot of those to happen in a row to have a chance to climb back into this one, but it's not over for Get On My Level by any means, right? They would be going down to the lower bracket. They definitely have some more matches where they can try and show some stronger performances. And Mouse, on the other hand, very likely to be moving on as Nika jumps in. And Hikei certainly looks like the target. Brings him right back into the damage, and Ting's now immortal.
Nika not even using the Fearless until after the damage had already been applied from the Shadow Lock and the Silence. Ultimate from Cheerio, going to come flying down south as well, headed straight for Maker. And Maker, the lone standing survivor of this killing spree that has taken place here for Mouse.
Mouse Sports definitely coming out and getting the job done. They secure the win and continue to move on throughout the upper bracket. That does mean that Get On My Level are dropped down to the losers bracket. It cannot afford to drop another set off the back end of that. But how impressive, especially after what we've seen today, is a performance by Mouse. These international teams are not ones to underestimate. We've seen them have a strong performance against LG. We saw the SML team actually win their matchup. Just because they're non-SPL doesn't mean you can take them lightly. And Mouse absolutely do not. They come in, play cleanly, clinically, and they win the set.
Rough stuff for Get On My Level for sure, but there's no telling whether or not the team can bounce back in the lower bracket, Finch.
Sure.
I'm right there with you. I think that this was just a couple of games that got away from them in the early game, although I like the adjustments that we saw from Get On My Level. It shows that they're still trying to be proactive and finding solutions to the aggression from these SPL teams.
And again, I think there's an argument to be made that this might just be a bad draw for Get On My Level. One of their strengths, again, is that they do like to sort of try and catch you off guard. They do things you don't expect, like the Blink Scotty that we saw them go back to again there in Game 2. And that aggression might work if you're against a team that plays at a slower pace, that likes to wait for maybe the mid to late game. But against a team like Mouse, who loves to give Cheerio things like Naja, and would also like to fight as often and early as possible, I think that it just isn't going to work in that matchup, and we saw Mouse get the better.
It's like the King of Jank basically trying to beat out the King of Jank, and it's just so hard to pull off against Mouse.
Yeah, it definitely didn't end up working out for them. Not in that matchup, unfortunately. Things got a little bit away from them, so we'll see if maybe they can do a little bit better later on throughout the actual tournament. Again, Mouse is going to be going through the upper bracket. We're not going to be seeing quite the same thing from Get On My Level. They'll be going down into the lower bracket, so we'll get a chance to see a little bit more from them there.
I'm super excited, though, to see what happens with Mouse throughout the rest of this tournament, though, because with how dominant they were here up against Get On My Level, I think that shows some promising matches against some of the other SPL teams that they're going to meet up in the winner bracket.
Certainly we'll get to see a little bit more from them later on, though. We'll get a chance to get an interview with them and get some of the thoughts, at least from Mouse. But let's get things over to the desk for now and get their thoughts and their analysis.
Thanks a lot there, John Finch. Tom, Justin, and Ryan here on the desk, just making sure everything's all straightened out. 2-0 for Mouse Sports here. Get On My Level. Couldn't rise to the occasion. Unfortunately, gets jumped on.
I did just have a thought, though. What if we see Get On My Level go down to the lower bracket and just obliterate the competition? And then Mouse Sports never dies against any other team the rest of the way. Maybe these are just the two best teams here.
That's a far stretch. Remember when Ryan said we have a rule here about saving your co-commentator? That's the instinct, and we don't save Ryan Bailey.
I don't think I can save that one.
Thank you.
You absolutely could have.
No,
it's only going to be Gummel. It's not going to be. It's not going to be Mouse.
Big Man Tings looked pretty, yeah, that happened a whole bunch of times. He came out of the mid lane, looked pretty fantastic, supported by a number of other players, though. Frostyak, I think, gets my nod for Steel Series MVP of the match. Certainly a strong showing. Big Man Tings, though, on the rock. Hot damn.
God. That is the dream right there. I mean, looking down the hallway, just throw both beams down. This actually constituted bullying. I saw Vinny tap Big Man Tings on the shoulder and say, hey, man, don't do that.
Yeah, that was a little bit rough. Boom goes the dynamite, I think is how we do that one. So, what's this face?
Really? That's how we do that one? Is a boom goes the dynamite?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how we do that one. Mouse in the books already. So, realistically, do we garner any real information from this set?
No, Mouse is warm on land now. That's kind of all I've got. Look, Get On My Level did great work to get here, but clearly isn't ready for that SPL level talent quite yet. I mean, maybe in the lower bracket they'll go up against a team and be able to show us a little bit more, but I think that Mouse is the real deal as far as an actual DreamHack contender, and they had to go up against a team that just wasn't ready today.
Frostyak, Steel Series MVP of the set, and yeah, I mean, this is what he did game number 1. He was on the Ratatasker, and this is actually something I guess you can garner from the set. The Ratatasker on Frostyak is a big threat, which is funny, because I told you before he was he was a hot and cold player, took a hiatus, and now he's back. He was a Thor player. Ratatasker is essentially Thor 2.0.
I think that's the best way to say it. Is honestly, Frostyak, no matter what level of players he's going up against here, he is just on fire. He is dominant in this matchup. You're constantly in the face of 2 to 3 players just strutting stuff.
What are you going to do? Mouse looked really strong there. Frostyak certainly doing it as well. What was your takeaway from the duo lane? How you feeling about Dardes and Cherry over there?
They look good so far. Again, I think that I'll reserve judgment until they go up against competition that's a little bit closer to what they're used to.
All right. Well, we do have a conversation with the winners of Mouse Sports. They're represented by Big Man Tings and Nika.
I am here with Nika as well as Big Man Tings here, our solo mid laner
from Mouse. First, I imagine y'all have to be feeling good after that match. Just sort of talk to me about where the team morale is, how everyone's feeling after that set.
I mean, we just wanted to use this match as kind of like a warm-up. We didn't really get to scrim for that long yesterday.
Sure.
So we just wanted to get used to mechanics and just the LAN client overall.
Well, now that you guys have this win under your belt, you know that you're going to be facing off against Insignum next. So what's the team mentality surrounding that?
I think we're doing pretty good regarding Insignum. We scrimmed them a decent amount heading before LAN, and we know them quite well inside and outside the game. So we're looking forward to play them as friends and competitors. So should be good.
You know, and a lot of us, some of the casters, the players, and other teams, they seem surprised by that outcome. But you guys have had a better look, I think, at Insignum, even scrimming them. Were you guys surprised at all by the outcome, or is that how you knew that team could play?
I was actually surprised, but I think Insignum realistically should have 2-0'd. I think they threw game one pretty hard. But I definitely expected Trifecta to play a lot better than they did. But obviously, congrats to Insignum for such a strong start.
Who is the team that you guys are most, who are you guys wanting to face the most at the winning side of the bracket? Like, say you win your match against Insignum, but how do you picture yourselves making your run?
I feel like we have the most to prove against Obey. They got the better of us most recently in the full split, and they've been playing pretty damn good in that full split as well. So we really want to scrim against play against Obey with Prime. Since he would be playing.
I want to play against Rival because they're the team we've scrimmed the most, and we're pretty friendly with them. So I think it'll be fun to see what we could pull off in the later rounds.
Well, I know you all had the big roster shakeup just coming in here, and towards the back half of the split, you all looked better for it. You look very comfortable now. Do you all feel like you are fully comfortable, and this is like that roster when it's finally coming together like you envisioned it?
Definitely, because moving Cherry over to support lets him be the leader that we were lacking with him in the jungle. Because in Season 5 of the jungler plays kind of individually, I'd say, compared to the older seasons. And that's Frosty's playstyle completely. So it's just perfect for him to be in the jungle with Cherry support. Yeah,
Frosty's playstyle really suits how I like to play Smite. So it was kind of a change where everyone benefited all round, which I did say in my Twitter when we did the change. So I think we're all kind of happy with how it is going, and it seems to be going pretty well so far. So.
It absolutely does. You guys look great. It's great to get a chance to talk to you. Good luck to you in all your matches. Again, hope we get to see plenty more of y'all playing, so good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
HRX is brought to you by High Res Studios, INAP, Mixer, Alienware, and Skillshot.
November 16th is when we take the stage at DreamHack. For now, we're setting the table. Placement round begins now and it'll last until Saturday. Myself, Justin, and Agro breaking down day number 1 for you today. Still a match on the docket. SK Gaming, 1-29 over the course of the regular season. Not exactly the most successful team, but LAN could be a different story. They're going head-to-head against No Ping, not Black Dragons. Definitely an interesting conversation.
That's the big note, is that they're going up against Brazil, but it isn't Black Dragons, who have been here so often, but No Ping was able to upset them this fall.
I mean, is this the first time that we've seen Black Dragons not at one of our lands?
Pretty sure.
Yes.
Wow.
That alone kind of speaks for itself. Crazy stuff going on here. Reflecting on the earlier part of the day, we saw Luminosity beat Nocturnes, although it was very close. They'll go on to play against Papa. Wow, Papa Pretty Fry. Lost his name there for the moment. Been a long day. But they'll go on to play against Obey Alliance. We saw some other fantastic stuff coming out from Trifecta and Signum. And Signum actually winning the minor league team, trouncing up above. And then Mouse getting on my level's level. SK Gaming versus No Ping should be fun. It's very interesting. I like these guys. They're energetic. In fact, we have a conversation. Funball standing by. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hey, I'm here with Funballer. He was nice enough to take a moment to come over and talk with me, the Hunter, here for SK. First of all, just sort of tell me a little bit about how the team's feeling. What's the atmosphere like coming into the event?
I'm hoping we lose every game.
Sure, that's probably a good strategy, right? Because you get out of there as soon as possible. That's the way you want to go, right?
I can go sleep then, you know. Nah, I mean, we had a rough, online session and splits. Hopefully we can turn it around. We've been scrimming. We've been playing way better compared to what we used to. So let's just hope we don't lose.
And that's something that we've kind of been saying, that we know that you all are kind of better than maybe just the record would show. Are you all just looking forward to a chance to kind of show that you are better than that too as well?
Yeah, I think a lot of us, literally everybody, has something to prove, and I think Fearless and Ducky are the best mechanical players in the world.
You definitely have a team full of really strong players here. Obviously, I know you all are confident here in this matchup. Anything you can tell me about your prep without giving too much away about how you all feel about this set in particular?
Hades.
I imagine there will be plenty of Hades. That's you, right? Hades.
Oh man, I might do, yeah.
Might see some Hades ADC. Maybe giving away a little bit of it here for you, but that's going to do it at least here with Funballer. We'll go over there and hear from the No Ping guys in just a moment.
Thanks a lot there, John. Talking to Funball, and that is, again, we haven't really seen much of Funball on LAN because, well, he really hasn't been able to do it. But now here at placement stage, that's Kieran. That's who he is. He's got a real gruff personality, and he's always kind of looking for the joke. So, yeah, jokes aside, SK Gaming going to look back.